Hi guys, my name is Hermina Marisol Sanchez Diaz and today I'm going to talk about would rather versus would prefer. We use the modal expressions would prefer and would rather to talk about our preferences in English. These two expressions mean the same thing but are conjugated in different ways and are synonyms for the verb prefer. Would rather is followed by the infinitive without to, and would prefer is followed by to plus infinitives or a noun. Would prefer. In this case, would prefer can be used with either a noun or a verb. For example, they would prefer coffee. In this case, coffee is a noun. They would prefer to drink coffee. We use in this case a verb. But what happened? You have to notice that if you use a verb with would prefer, the verb is in the infinitive form. For example, in this case, to drink. That verb is in the infinitive form. Would rather. Would rather can only be used with either a verb. For example, they would rather drink coffee than tea. Notice that the verb that follows would rather must be in the simple form without to. Something that you can never do when you use would rather is conjugate a sentences like that. They would rather coffee. Why you can do that? Because would rather only can be conjugated with a verb, and the verb have to be in the simple form. We're going to analyze that. When you use would prefer, you can conjugate a sentence with a noun, but when you use would rather, you cannot do that. When you use would prefer, you have to put a verb in infinitive form. But if you have a verb in would rather, the verb have to be in the simple form without to. Now we're going to talk about contractions. We often use contraction with would prefer and would rather. Pronouns can be contracted with would to make the following. I would prefer and I would rather. The contractions are I'd prefer, I'd rather. In the case of we would prefer, we would rather. The contractions are we'd prefer, we'd rather. And past tense in the other pronouns. Just this. Other examples. This like a feedback. You can say, I would prefer to do homework by myself. But you can say, I would rather do homework by myself. Means the same, but the conjugated is different. Other example, I would rather go home than going to party. You can say, I prefer to go home than going to party. Well, guys, the key to the grammar or the clause to the grammar is remember every time that would prefer and would rather mean the same thing, but are conjugated in different ways. For example, would rather is following by the infinitive without to, and would prefer is following by to plus infinitives or a noun. Well, I hope that everybody enjoyed this video, and that's all. Bye.